And welcome to the new Canvas platform. We are in the evidence class, of course, and in order to get into the platform, we have a new address that we use other than what we used to use for D2L. And if you look up here at the top of the screen, it's vccd.instructure.com. You can also get this through your myvcc.edu student website, and there's a link for Canvas there. And it'll bring you to your sign-in sheet where you will put in your username and your password. It should be the same as you use for your student website. And then you'll get to, once you get in there, you'll get into your dashboard. The dashboard will have your classes that you have available that have either web-enhanced, hybrid, or online classes. And of course, we are the evidence class, so right here is the evidence class for us, and we're going to click on that. So we'll get right into the classroom and show you how things work. Now, the classroom has not yet been published, but it will be very soon. But right now, when you get into the first part of this, you're in the home page essentially. And on the home page is, of course, a greeting from me, a little bit what you should be doing on the first day of class. And then you'll have an assignments summary by due date. And you'll see discussions some weeks, and some weeks discussions and quizzes. There's a final exam near the bottom and so on. When it comes to discussions, the last day for those, of course, are the Sunday of the week involved. But that is for the participation posts, and your initial response is actually due on Thursday, as I will go over with you when we get into the discussion part of the classroom. But right now you're in the home page, and you get your syllabus essentially, all your assignments with their due dates sitting there as a calendar. And you can also go to those by simply linking to them. So if you want to go to the week 1 discussion, for instance, you simply click on it and you're right into the week 1 discussion. And you'll be going to the discussion tab over here at the same time. So again, if you want to go back to home, you want to go back to your syllabus, you'll have it right here down at the bottom of my greeting. It takes a minute for it to come up. And you can get to the quizzes the same way. They're not available yet, of course, because they start on the Thursday during the week that they apply to. But they will tell you a little bit about the quiz. In this case, you'll see there's 25 true and false multiple choice questions, a total of 50 points, 2 points for each question. There is, let's see, 75 minutes, so that's about 3 minutes per question, which isn't too bad. No multiple attempts, so you got to do it just once. If you have any trouble with your quizzes, as I'll explain later on, you make sure that you email me as soon as you're having that trouble. Let's say you are in the middle of a quiz and the internet dies on you. And you can't get back in for some reason, then you want to send me an email. We'll reset it up for you again sometime during the week. We won't let these kind of problems, technical problems, get in your way, so long as you are using the, a system that is allowed to be used for this Canvas, and that you do what you're supposed to do, which is to email me right after it happens, so I know that it's legit, and then I will set it up for you and make it right. Also, very important on these quizzes, on the Wednesday following the quiz, just for that one day Wednesday, you will be able to get your correct answers. That means the correct answers to the ones that you had incorrect. So for all your incorrect questions, you will get both the correct answer and your incorrect answer for those questions at that time. I think you should go over those so that you can learn from that experience. And another reason is that the final exam pulls from the same question library as all of these quizzes. So likely you will see some of the same questions on your final exam, and you want to be able to have already learned what you didn't learn the first time, the second time, so that you can do well on the final exam. All right, so again, let's go back to home again just to show you that the page is there, and it's always going to be there for you to be able to pick up your assignments and click right into them simply by clicking on the link from this syllabus, otherwise known as an assignment summary. And it goes in all the way down to the final exam, and the dates for that are already set for you. Now, let's go into announcements just very quickly. I'd like you to look at the announcements every week. I will not post announcements unless there's something important for you to know, and it's something that you want to know. And I haven't set this up yet, right, because this is from a previous class. But you'll see announcements set here, and when you haven't read, please do read it. I will also send those by email, so you should see them in your email, but do make sure you read them, because there'll be something important. There could be an extension given for or there's some problem coming up, or whatever it may be. But if you don't get those messages, you may lose rights that you would have otherwise had, or you might be confused when you don't need to be. So again, do look at announcements every time you go into the classroom if you would please. All right, next thing you want to do is look at the modules, which is the same as our content tab in the D2L system. It's where all of your materials are for each week. Everything that you will need except for your textbook is there and available to you. The first one is in the Getting Started tab. Up here is your syllabus. You want to click on that. You will want to open it. It'll open up in a viewer, but you will also want to download it. There's a little link there to download it. And if you download it, it'll simply download for you. And you open it up, and it will then be something you can put on your desktop or whatever. And here it comes. It just opened up right now. And so it opens up in a Word document, of course. And of course, it comes up in this viewer. So you can view it if you'd like, but you want to have it offline, just in case for some reason you can't get it online, but you want to know what's going on in the class. You'll have it there. I suggest also that you print it out as a very good way to have it so that you know what's going on. You won't be confused about what you need to do at any given time. All right, so all your learning activities, your graded activities are there. The chapter PowerPoints are there for each week. And also you'll be seeing a video lecture for each week coming up. Usually will be a few weeks ahead of you in creating those videos. They do take some time to create, but they'll be there and available to you way before you need them. And they will be something you might want to think about using, because it's me basically going over the legal concepts for that particular week, and I'm doing it in a way that explains them in great context, and also gives you lots of good examples of what we're talking about that you wouldn't necessarily see in the book. Lots of war stories, so to speak, where real cases use these concepts, and it illustrates how they're used and the fact that they are in fact real, and things that you do need to know. So they're good just to listen to. In fact, a good way to do that, as many students use them, is to simply listen to the video lecture before they even read the book. So they give a real good idea of what's going to go on in the book, and then they outline the book, or outline the legal concepts from the book for each chapter that they're supposed to read each week. And that's the best way to study, is to go over the video lecture either before or after you do your textbook reading. Be sure to outline the actual legal concepts that are in the textbook chapters by simply writing out the definition of each of the legal concepts and legal rules that are there, and exceptions to the rules and so on, without any examples, just simply listed out by subject matter. Because that's what you'll be able to use when you go into the quiz. You'll have those rules right there at your fingertips, and you'll be able to use them and know what you need to do in order to find the right answer to the right question. Okay, so these video lectures are important. Now, we've had students tell us that they use them by playing them in their car while they are driving to work and home from work. So they get a good opportunity to use that otherwise unproductive time to actually get some learning in. And so that helps to do that as well. So you can have them on your phone and play them in your car very easily. All right, so every week we'll have different materials that you'll need. There's a few extra links to other kinds of materials that are just good. For instance, there's a good video here. For instance, You Lied to the Judge video. It's an actual cross-examination of a witness on the stand by a very good attorney who makes it really clear how you can impeach a witness with all sorts of things. In that case, the witness did agree that she had been convicted of a certain crime. I think it was prostitution, for instance. But she said she wasn't really guilty of it, but she was convicted of it. And then you think, well, how can you make her look bad and make her into a liar if she says that she didn't do it, but she pled guilty to it? But what he did is he says, okay, well, fine. If you weren't guilty, then you lied to the judge when you told him you were guilty, and so you're a liar, aren't you? And that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting video. These do bring out a lot of good aspects to what we're learning that week, and I would implore you to watch these. They're not very long, but they are very good for that purpose. Here's also Use of Force expert in the Zimmerman case. You'd be surprised at how that expert in force and the use of force was able to make Zimmerman look a lot better than he did in the press, to say the least. It was probably the reason why Zimmerman was found not guilty of the criminal case. And so you can see the force behind experts and how they can make a difference in a case for sure. And that's what we're studying that particular week, for instance. And here's some quizzes on whether something is hearsay or not. It's real good practice for you to go through and take your definition of what hearsay is and apply it to each of these situations and see whether in fact you have hearsay. And then, of course, there's some more of them over here, Godfather video on hearsay, non-hearsay, and so on. And so we've got lots of these in here for you, depending upon what week is there and what you have to learn that particular week. So these modules have everything you need in terms of the materials that you would use other than your textbook. They're good to use for the learning experience, and plenty of good things are in there. If you have things you would suggest to add into these, please let me know, and I'd be more than glad to add them in. If you find something very interesting on the internet, it would be a good link for us to have in our materials. Okay, so next we want to go to our discussions. We have a discussion every week except for the last week. So we have 16 weeks of discussions. Each discussion is worth 12.5 points. It's a good hunk of your points. I think it's something like 20% or so of your points. So you can't really put these aside. Something you really have to spend some time on. And that's one of the best learning experiences you'll have, because you'll be able to actually compare your thoughts to other students, read whether other students think about the same questions that are involved, and so on. Let's first look at the Getting Acquainted form. This is the one where you need to post here by the first day of class, which is on January 9th, by 8 p.m. If you don't do that at that time, you could be dropped from the class. It's at my discretion. If there is still room in the class, I won't necessarily drop you. I'll find out what's going on and see why you weren't in the class, but I will drop you if there are people who are on the waiting list. So don't forget to post your autobiography. Basically tell us a little bit about yourself, and let us know that you're in the classroom, and you've gotten in the classroom, you're there, and you're ready to go. And then we know you are a viable student for the class. And so this is not just getting acquainted, it's also a way of letting me know that you are there and you are interested in taking the class, and you'll be there. So that if there is a spot that is not open and someone wants to come in, if you're not there, then I'm going to give it to them. So that's important, again, as I said. All right, discussion. Let's go back to discussions real quick. There's some things you need to know about discussions for the weekly discussions. For some reason they're not in order. I don't know why Canvas does this, but I try to put them in order and they won't let me. It looks like it's a glitch of one sort or another. Week 1 is actually the second one on my list. It may be the same one on or the first one on yours, but it is not the same on mine. Anyway, so if we click on the week 1 discussion, it's not yet open, I don't think. Let's see. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is open. I did open on December 27th, so there we go. Now what you've got here is a very long sort of explanation and a question, or more than one question, and some directions on how to post your post. So what I suggest that you do with these things, you simply copy everything and you put it onto a Word document, and then you work on that Word document in your computer, and not try to, for instance, click on reply, which would essentially open up a text box for you to start typing into. Because if you do that, what's going to happen is you might lose the internet in the middle of what's going on. Someone may call you away in the middle of this whole thing, and then your internet will die, or you'll be kicked off the Canvas because you've been there too long without any activity, and now you've lost all of your work. The last thing you want to do. So what you want to do is you want to take a Word document, you want to paste it into your Word document, and now you've got all the directions, and now you can start pasting your own answer into. So here's the composition part of it. You can actually just start posting, or actually just start typing. And so you'll type whatever it is you're going to put in there. You'll save it. Now, once you've got your response, you're going to take the response, you're going to copy it. Then you're going to put it into the post, and then you're going to post reply, and then now you're done. Now what's very important about this also is that you will not be able to see the responses of other students in this forum until you post your first post. Now what's very important about that is that it's for two different reasons. One is to, of course, make sure that people don't copy other people's work, but it also allows you to give your best impression of what the learning was all about in terms of the questions that are being asked, and so that you can offer your own viewpoint on it rather than being influenced by other students at that time. But it also means that you need to do really well on your initial response, because 8 out of your 12.5 points is based on how well you do on the initial response. And so work hard on that. It's an important part of it. Do post it by Thursday midnight, because that's the last day for posting not last day, but it is the deadline for posting your initial response to the discussion question. Then once you've posted that initial response, then the entire forum opens up to you. You'll be able to read all the other posts of all the other students. And then you're going to pick 3 of those, and you're going to pick at least 2 other days during the week in which you're going to be posting to the forum to other students or to me, your professor. You have to post at least 3 of them, and you have to post those on your posts have to be on 3 of 7 days, so that your initial response might be on one day, for instance, and then you might post a response to another student on that day. And they have to come back 2 other days during the week and post at least one post on each of those days. So you have to be in the forum and posting on 3 days during the 7-day week. And so you want to make sure that that you do that. What's also very important about your responses to other students or to your professor is that you have to have a substantive response, and that means you have to have something meaningful and relevant that you add to the response of your own that gives some value to the discussion. You have to add essentially something of value to the discussion rather than simply agreeing with and or restating what other students say in your response. So again, you'll get no points at all if you simply agree with and or restate what the other students said, or if you don't say anything that's meaningful or relevant to the discussion. So if you do add something meaningful and relevant to discussion, you will get all the points for that particular post. So make sure that you add something in of your own to each of your posts to other students or to your professor in order to get all the points. All right, so again, we're going to have a discussion every week. I think you'll find it's very interesting. It'll be a good way for you to exercise the concepts that you will be learning each week. Makes it a lot easier for taking the quizzes because you understand the concepts so much better, and it makes you a much better paralegal as well. All right, let's look at assignments. Now, the assignments page in Canvas is different than it was in D2L, so you're going to find it to be a bit, I think, confusing. And the reason for that is because everything that you are responsible for in terms of grades is there. And here's your discussions, here's your final exam, here's all your quizzes. That's everything. In the assignments tab in D2L, we had only the written assignments. So you're going to have to sometimes go looking for what is, if you're looking for instance, the week 3 quiz, you got to go look for it. So actually, it might be better for you to go to the home page and pick up what your assignments are for, let's say, week 3 by actually going down to the syllabus once it comes up for week 3 and pick up the week 3 quiz there and click on it. That's probably the easiest way to find each of these things. That it is to go to the assignment tab. It's just it's not a good way for them to have done it, but that's the way they decided to do it. All right, you can also go to your grades here. When you click on that, all the grades that have been graded will be in the gradebook automatically, so you'll be able to see your grades at all times. If you have any questions about grades, please be free to email me and let me know that you have a problem with a grade, or that you didn't get a grade, or whatever it might be, or you dispute a grade, or whatever. Email that to me. That's the best way to get my attention because I have many things to do, and I will tend to forget things if I don't have them in writing. So the best way to deal with something is email, and I put it on my list of things to do, and then I do them periodically. So that's your best way to get things taken care of. All right. So again, this is the classroom. It's basically very similar to D2L, but it has enough differences that you have to get a little used to it. But otherwise, it shouldn't be hard for you to understand. It's not too difficult to deal with. Again, think about the video lectures. They're going to be important to your understanding of the material. I think that you'll enjoy them. All right, any other questions? Feel free to email or call me, and we'll be more than glad to help.